Hey everybody, Tom Cassidy here, a slightly hoarse Tom Cassidy. This is as a result of, I've been to a few parties in the last week and I've been exercising. It's really interesting actually. I don't really like, I'm at that age now, people, I'm at that age where I'd prefer to be talking to people quietly, sort of around the dinner table, having a dinner party. But I had a couple of loud parties and then I had a couple of kids parties as well in about the last, well, just the last 4 or 5 days. And because I like talking as well, because people ask me questions at these things, as soon as I drop a few things like, well, what do you do? Well, I'm kind of working on creating greater life for all, and they start asking you questions like that. So obviously then, you know, they keep going, and it's rude to just say, oh, yeah, well, no big deal. So obviously I end up talking a lot, and so I'm not going to do too much wittering on today. I'm going to just say the idea of this week 6 is really simple. It's just do today what you can do today, everything that you can do today, without worrying about what you might do in the future, without worrying about what you should have done already, what you maybe didn't do very well last week. And this concept of more than filling your present place is such a good one. It's a phenomenal one of Wattles itself. It's all there in chapter 12. It's all there for you. The only thing we're really going to add today, my contribution, is this algorithm of got to get to. And what's really nice about this is I'm going to spring, without any possible word of warning, I'm going to spring this upon Mr. Sam Brown to explain this, because he knows this one really well. So Sam, why don't you go and tell people how that all works?
Yeah, never a dull moment jumping on broadcast with you. So thank you, Tom. First of all, man, thank you so much for your time this evening. As usual, I know your voice is a precious commodity, but everyone else is benefiting from you straining it. And got to versus get to. I really love that the Reasonable Wealth 13x4 has those extra algorithms in there, because some of these are really absolutely really great pivot points. That's the way I like to think of got to get to, because Tom, we'll do this all the time too. A great example of this is I was IMing with Tom, and he's like, yeah, I've got to go do some invoices. And I'm like, I said, you get to go do some invoices. And what's really interesting about this one for me, guys, is got to is obligatory. It's like an obligation. When I say, man, I've got to wash the dishes, it's an obligation. It's a chore. Just that word alone for me gives me the energy of kind of obligation is not a good energy for me. For some people, obligation, if they're like, I'm gonna, it may be positive for them. For me personally, I don't really like that feeling a lot. I like to rather get to choose stuff. So just by changing that one little letter, and it works really well in English. I'm not sure how it translates to other languages, but I think the concept is applicable the same. But instead of I've got to do these invoices, I get to do these invoices. And that just changes the whole energy of the way that I say that. We'll get into this probably in some other time, but guys, your words are so incredibly powerful. Be very delicate with your words, because you're speaking reality into truth when you speak. And so when I say I get to do something, it's like, oh man, it just makes me feel lighter. And that's honestly one of the barometers of a lot of this stuff, is how does that make me feel? Do I get an instant lift from it, or does it kind of make me feel a little heavier? And for me, that kind of gives me a good sense of where my intuition is going. But all of us have chores, man. Every single day, if you're a human being, then you have things in your life that you have to do, whether it's feed the kids dinner, take out the trash, do this kind of stuff. But when you change that one little word to get to, it really lifts the energy of everything, and also just opens up the possibilities. It gets my mind working. If I get to make these invoices, well, man, I get to invoice these people that are going to pay me money. That's awesome. I get to keep my kitchen orderly, which, by the way, I have a saying, there can be more value in washing the dishes than there can be in writing 12 volumes of books. And it kind of comes from this kind of frame of mind, where if you get to do something, it becomes almost like a privilege. And so for me, it's a really powerful way to pivot. It's a reframing tool for me. I use it all the time. I reframe things from got to get to, and I find that it really helps lift my energy in a situation when I need to who doesn't want to be at their best even when you're doing the most normal stuff? And that's what this chapter is all about. It's really great stuff, Thomas.
Okay, thanks very much for that, Sam. That's brilliant. Now, how would you extend that concept into kind of the feeling of, oh, just I've got to do the job that I'm not really that into. You know, I've got to carry on doing a job for the moment that is just not perfect for me. It's just not super fulfilling. How does that simple reframing work in that context? Because you know that one quite well. Like a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I actually, what's funny is I live that one. I'm living with that one every single day right now. Whether you guys realize it or not, one of my goals in life is to move to working with Tom on some of this stuff full time. And obviously, right now, it really does help to reframe stuff. My job's absolutely perfect. I couldn't ask for more flexibility, intellectually stimulating. I work with great people, but it can be very easy to let dissatisfaction sneak in and be, man, I'm just very careful of that because I know exactly what that does in my life. Because if you begin to say, well, my vision is way over here, but yet I'm sitting here today, and it can become very difficult to see how to get from here to there. And the secret is really in this chapter. It's embedded in more than filling your place, which is just a fascinating concept in general. But for me, I don't got to go to work. I don't have to go to work today. I get to go to work today. And when I reframe it that way, it opens up all of my channels of creativity. It opens up my the bliss that I'm able to find in the most simple things, you know. And when you can, I've found in my own life, when I can find bliss in the most mundane chore, then I know I'm really being at my best. And that's how I want to live, man. I don't want to just be happy when someday I'm a billionaire and king of the world. I want to be happy every single step along the way. And for me, this reframing tool is super powerful. I'd encourage you to try it out. And when you try it out, I'd encourage you to speak words. You know, speak to yourself. Guys, the process of thinking, all it is thinking words and pictures to yourself. So when you say, when you catch yourself, because you'll do it probably within 24 hours of this chat. Oh, I've got to do this. Just switch it. No, I get to do this, and just instantly notice a little bit of the lift that comes from it, and it really allows me to just kind of giddily approach things, and that's why I really appreciate it. And I use it on a daily basis because it's very easy, man. I show up at 9 o'clock and look around and be like, man, I feel like an alien in this place. These people have no clue how my phone is blowing up with this genius right now. So for me, it's a real big deal, and it's a reframing pivot point, and I can use more of those because if there's ever a situation where I'm not going to get my best out of myself, if I could just have one little algorithm that helps me pivot to that, that's awesome. And the other beauty of this, I think it is just the simplicity. You know, I think genius is just the most simple path from one point to another, not necessarily geographical, but nature does a really, really good job of this. There's no frills in nature. Everything there is absolutely for a reason, and whatever that is, it's for its best. So this is one of those ones that's really simple, it's easy to remember, and you can apply it in your life on a daily basis to get the best out of yourself.
Yeah, that's so good. What's really good is hearing you talk about that in your current job, because I know how your script can get you, like it gets all of us, about, you know, oh, if only you were doing this stuff that you really wanted to do full time, how cool would it be? But I think what Wattles is saying is, look, if you reframe things to do more than filling your current place, making that part of what you do on a daily basis, what you're doing really is you're turning every single day into a building block to take you from where you are to achieving your goal. But the fact that you are doing what you're doing now it will mean that you'll get to accomplish your goal, because it's part of it, because it's part of your journey. You've got a sandpit, a sandbox, you call it in the States, and you've got a sandbox in which to grow yourself. In order to have the things that you want, you're going to have to develop yourself as an individual. Absolutely, we all do. If we have a vision for ourselves which doesn't involve us changing at all, or becoming better and actually being able to deliver more value to people at all, then our vision isn't big enough. It's as simple as that. So we can do that in whatever we're doing, whether we, you know, even if we don't have a job, looking for a job, the fact that you say, I've got to get a job. No, I get to get a job. I get to look. I get to become the world's best expert at how to get a job. If I don't have the perfect job now and I've got to get a new job, no, you get to get a new job, and you get to do your current job right now and everything in it to the utmost of your ability. Now, what's really interesting is this: if you go about your business being amazing at what you do, even these things that you don't particularly like, just being unbelievably good when it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter really even to your boss. Some of you will be in jobs where you think really your boss, even if you did a great job, even if you were amazing, you wouldn't even notice, or the boss wouldn't even notice, right? But you're practicing being amazing, delivering more than you promised, more than filling your current place. That will show. It will stick. You'll stick out like a sore thumb, because no one else will be doing that, especially when it's maybe a mundane job. But also, it's pretty impossible to be like, it would be impossible for Sam to be doing all the work that he's doing with me on developing the app and all the stuff that we're doing in the communities in an amazing way if he was 10 hours a day or 8 to 10 hours a day and his regular job was kind of just slacking. You're just going, nah, I don't really care about this job. Oh, but I'm going to be amazing in my spare time. Or I'm going to be amazing in my next job. You just you wait. Just you wait till I get that next job. Just you wait till I get that amazing job next. I'm going to be so awesome. I'm going to be, whoa, all this sort of stuff, right? Now, it won't happen because you won't be practiced in it. You won't know what to do when you feel. It's fine when you feel fantastic, 5 or 10 minutes a day, but you'll get challenges and everything. And if you haven't got really, really good, if it's not in your nature to be delivering more than you promised, going the extra mile, being incredibly awesome for no other reason than because you know that it's the right thing to do and it makes you feel good. If you haven't got really used to it, when it doesn't count, when it doesn't matter, then you won't be able to just turn it on like that. You won't just be able to turn on the magic. It won't work. So a lot of people do this. They hate their boss. They hate their current job. They say, oh, if only I could get a new job. They go along to interview, and guess what? They've just spent 3 months practicing being rubbish at their job, right? And so they go into an interview. They're not going to be able to give from the energy of awesome. They're not going to be able to give the impression of increase. Chapter 14. They're not going to be able to just give off that impression that, oh my God, we want this guy because this guy's going places and he can take the company with him. You won't be able to do that. You'll just be giving off this energy of like fairly average, or maybe Wallace Wattles says it, you will be retarding the universe if you're not delivering more than you can, if you're not more than filling your present place. You are devolution, you're not evolution. And so the principles in this chapter are really simple. Just do everything that you can do to the best of your ability. And we had a question on in the chat groups earlier on, or somewhere on the community. Someone said, "How do I know when I've done everything?" You don't. You just don't. You trust your intuition, and gradually you work it out. You just listen to what your intuition is telling you is the right amount to do. You do everything that you can do, making yourself feel satisfied that you haven't worked too much. As Wattle says, you haven't tried to do a week's work in a day. You haven't tried to do tomorrow's work today. You've just done all that you could do that was considered reasonable for you to do that day. And if you do it with the vision of your future in your mind, knowing that everything you're doing, everything that you get to do today is part of the whole picture of you creating your vision, then it'll work beautifully for you, and it'll happen much sooner than you think. So this idea of, well, okay, what if I'm doing too much? Start listening to your intuition. If you feel that you're doing too much, you're probably doing too much. Just question. It's not the script who's saying, oh, you don't want to do that. Just sit on your ass, watch a movie. But what the script will do is, it's a script because it will flip, right? When it's your intuition, when you do it, you think it feels right. When you do it, it feels right. After you've done it, it still feels right. When it's the script, you think it's the right thing to do. You do it, you feel bad. I'll give you an example. Let's say you're not sure whether you should go to the gym that night, and you're not really sure whether you should because maybe you're a bit tired or you've been working hard and you've perhaps got, you know, a little bit of an injury or something like that. If you're trusting your intuition, you'll be thinking, oh, I'm not really sure whether I should go. If you decide not to go, and it's your intuition, as soon as you decide not to go, you've got peace, you've got relaxation, you go, oh, fantastic. Half an hour later, you still feel that. You still feel, yeah, cool, that's all right. It's going to be better tomorrow when I've got a bit more time. Right, if it's your script, as soon as you make that decision, you'll probably feel fine. But, you know, half an hour later, that nagging feeling will come back and say, oh, you know what? You're a bit of a wuss, aren't you? You should have really gone. And then you 2 hours later, you say, you're such an idiot. You're never going to get fit if you don't go to the gym as frequently as you plan to, as you intend to. You've got no willpower and all those things. So that's how you can know it's the script and not your intuition. Now, you're going to make a lot of mistakes because you're going to do a lot of stuff. And every time you do something, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. But as Buckminster Fuller said, you know, the best way to learn is to make as many mistakes as you can and to learn from those. Learn from your mistakes as quickly as possible. I think Google even say it. They want to fail fast when they do stuff because they want to, you know, they want to do as much as possible, fail as quickly as possible, and then iterate and then build on it. So your job really in working out exactly how much to do and how much not to do is to learn to get good at trusting your intuition. So trust it as much as you possibly can, make some mistakes, and get better at it. And that's basically it. So do everything that you think you can do, trusting your intuition, whilst all the while thinking about the awesomeness of the vision that you're bringing into reality. And if you're not working, I said in the chats earlier on, I was talking about, look, there's basically only two things you ever do. You either do your work or you think about your vision. And when you're doing your work, you're thinking about your vision as well. So really, that's why the vision is so important. So anytime you're not working, you're kind of relaxing, you should be contemplating your vision. When I say should, that creates pressure. So it's not really should, is it? If you want it to happen faster, think about your vision in all your spare time. If you want it to happen more slowly, don't think about your vision as much. If you're doing your work with the intention of every single thing you do is going to contribute to your future vision, then that energy, that attitude will just like inspire you to great feats without even really trying. It's still minimum willpower, but you're actually going to be doing a huge amount of work. Because like as soon as you've reframed it, it's like I think about this, you know, I even think about, you know, bringing the laundry from downstairs upstairs, you know, it's a big, and I think, oh, I've got to take it up, and I catch myself, got to. No, I get to, because I get to go up the stairs, I get to do a little bit of exercise, I get to, you know, use my muscles a little bit. If I keep doing stuff like that, and it's so easy to completely, with that little algorithm, to completely reframe all these chores that Sam was talking about into amazing opportunities to just build and build your strength and build your resolve and build your willpower and build your awareness. More than anything, what we're trying to do is build our awareness. So anyway, I'm going to open this up to see if we've got any questions. I did do the question and answer thing. First of all, I'm going to go to Richard. Richard in England. How you doing, Richard? Got any questions?
Very well, thank you. No, I just wanted to chip in a little bit, really, from my understanding of our bodies, how we're made up. I've heard lots of stuff about when we speak, every cell of our body hears us, and the more we repeat to our subconscious minds the desires of our heart, the stronger and more potent they become. I mean, if you get to a place where, yeah, this is it, this is for me, every ounce of my body wants to do this, you'll just get up and start doing it. So that was my bit, and also the fact that, you know, if we don't do this, if we don't work on our visions in our leisure time,
yeah,
you know, if you aim for nothing, you get there.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you aim for something definite, you'll get there. So it's kind of it's silly walking around sad, upset, miserable with life when you are the creator of your life. So, you know, I think there's a real call to responsibility. to take up our responsibility and not blame others, not blame society, not blame critical mum, dad, boss, whatever. It's like, hey, look, come on, you know, God's given us this awesome power and ability, and it's our responsibility to use it wisely and effectively. And I think, you know, if people kind of do an upgrade from just sitting down at a desk writing their to-do list, and I've got to do this, I've got to do this, and then get to the kind of, well, where is this getting me, and how can I see these things contributing to achieving the goals and sub-goals of the bigger vision, then you'll be more motivated in it as well. It won't seem like a chore. It will be purposeful, yeah, faith-filled, purpose-filled, and I think that's all what Waffles was on about effective action.
Yeah, that's right. Take efficient action. You know, is doing these things with the right reason, with the purpose to realize your vision as you're acting, and also with the faith that it's coming to you, as you say, Richard. You know, the faith that it's coming to you. That your vision isn't just something that you've been given just to annoy you. You know, it genuinely is something that's coming, and being grateful for it. So yeah. Within this single chapter, you've got the entirety of the book, really. It's like do your work, keeping your vision in your mind at all times, and as you do your work, have a fixed purpose to create your vision, have the steady faith that it's coming to you, and have total gratitude for it coming to you. And kind of it'll work really well. I mean, chapter 12 has got so much in it, so much incredible power in it. It's quite interesting, actually. If you look at if anyone's skipped along, you'll notice that there's part of chapter 12 coming in week 8 as well. There's a bit more as well, but when we talk about working in the we rather than working in the me, a lot of that is about sort of the idea of invoking all power as well. And so if what you're doing is doing for the right reasons, if what you're doing is genuinely bringing more life to all, then nature's going to be conspiring to make it work for you. So you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, and the thing I love about it is that when you've got that definiteness and the sureness about your vision, you start to attract people of like minds who want to do the same kind of thing. It's amazing. I've been to conferences in London. I thought, hey guys, you know, I've got this idea about doing this, that, and the other, and then suddenly out of the woodwork, it's like, oh, have you? Yeah, I was thinking of that as well. And all these coincidences are like synchronicities. It's fantastic.
Good, isn't it? Okay, well, we're not going to be too long on this one because we're coming up to sort of the half-an-hour mark, and I want these to be relatively short so that people can watch them and then move on. And I think later on in the week we'll do a question and answer. Has anyone got anything? John, I can see you're in listen-only mode. You're welcome to say something if you want, and again, you don't have to if you don't want to. If you can send a chat message if you do want to say anything, and then. Okay, John, if you want to, fantastic. All right, over to you then, John, to just say hi, and I'll pop you on there. Any thoughts, John? You're on mic. No, you're not. No, not coming through at the moment. Okay. All right. Well, don't worry. We'll worry about that later. John, if you've got any questions, ask them in the group. We'll do a question and answer session in the next couple of days, I think. I'm just about to wrap it up. Sam, you got any last words?
Yeah, man. I've got about an hour left to do, so we'll go ahead and wrap this one up, and we can spin into other stuff. This chapter is so awesome. It's so deep. Every time I read it, I get another level of understanding, and there is so much impregnated in every sentence of this. So I'm really excited about this one.
Fantastic. Me too. Okay, Richard, anything else? One last?
Yeah, I was just going to say it's very easy to get obsessive and very almost compulsive when that energy and that fuel is pumping through your veins. So I think it's important to keep oneself in check, to pace oneself, and to remember health's number one. Otherwise, you know, if you're really going for it, and you feel that people aren't jumping in, and you can't trust people, you've got to do it by yourself, and then you can very easily burn yourself out. Candle at both ends. So I think it's very important to
and that's in this
chapter high up on that agenda.
Yeah. And that is in this chapter, of course, when he says, you know, like it's not your business to worry about stuff that you can't do. It's not your business to worry about, to try and cram a week's work into a day. So it's a good point. I mean, it's all the way through that. I was playing Lego with the kids tonight, actually, and it's really interesting. We've got all these Lego bits, and I was thinking, this is a great example. Look, I'm trying to build something, and I can only build with what I've got right here, right now. I can't just. So I'm looking. I'm not sort of. I'm not saying, oh yeah, what would be really amazing is to have this. If only I had this, I could build what I wanted. No, I'm just looking to see what I've got, where I am right now, and building together something. And out of that, I created something that was quite nice. It had these like movable jaws, and one of the kids took it to bed with him, and he really loved it. It was really cool.
Excellent.
But that's a great example of, you know, okay, all these things that we do, small things we do on a daily basis. That's what we can do. Everyone I've run into in the past who talks about sort of setting goals and doing all this sort of stuff, nearly always thinking about doing something in the future and creating something in the future and building something amazing, but they're ignoring how well they're operating on a daily basis because they don't like their current job, because they don't think it's perfect for them, because they think they're worthy of something better. All these sort of subtle things that the script will say, you don't have to do a good job at this because you're better than this. You know. Anyway, we could talk all night, so we're not going to. John, have we got the microphone working? Do you want to say hi? Have we got it working or not? Let's just try this. See, I think we have. John, why don't you say hi? John, I think you're on. No. Maybe. I think you're on, John. I think your microphone is working. No? All right, never mind. The beauty of live Hangouts is that we're all live, and the technology is almost there for all of us. It's funny, Sam and I often get a bit frustrated when we've got a transatlantic call, video call, and it's not connecting instantly. You know, because we're talking about the app and all these sorts of things, and sometimes we get a little bit frustrated. But it's incredible to think that basically for free we've got the ability to do what even the US president didn't have 30 years ago. You know, there's no way he could have done this. He might have been able to have, you know, the ability to talk to one other president, but he couldn't talk to ordinary people like us, just like, oh, just dial them up. Just didn't happen. So where are we going to be in the next, 10, 20 years even? Anyway, I'm going to get off. It's a wonderful week this week because it's very practical, but it's also, everything's interrelated. You can't really do things without thinking as well. You can't really act without thinking, and you can't really think without acting, even if that action is thinking itself. So it's good night from me. Thanks very much, Sam, especially for doing that long piece to save my voice. I can't really resist, though, can I? I can't just look. All right, guys, have a wonderful evening. Thanks so much, and again, privileged to be working with you all. Have a wonderful week, and keep doing what you do.
Thank you. Doing a great job.
Cheers, guys. Bye.
Okay.